Hi, I'm Cashaé.
And I'm Aysen.
And we're going to talk about FELICIA and the appropriation of language.
Appropriation is defined as the action of taking something for one's own use, typically without the owner's permission. Language is defined as the system of communication used by a particular community or country. In Jane Hill's book, The Everyday Language of White Racism, Hill describes linguistic appropriation as a type of complex cultural borrowing that involves a dominant group's theft of aspects of a target group's language.
Cultural appropriation can be defined as the adoption or use of elements of one culture by members of another culture, such as white Americans wearing Native American headdresses or Hindu bindis at musical festivals. Since language is often the base of culture, the appropriation of language can act as a form of cultural appropriation.
In this video, we will be using the phrase by FELICIA as an example of this kind of appropriation, where the language being appropriated is AAVE, African American Vernacular English, a dialect of American English culturally spoken by urban working class African Americans and largely bidialectal middle class African Americans. Specifically, we'll be figuring out how we got from this to this.
By FELICIA is a phrase that originated in the 1995 movie Friday, starring Chris Tucker and Ice Cube, who co-wrote the film with DJ Pooh. The movie is about a day in the life of characters Craig and Smokey who live in South Central LA, which was a notoriously crime-ridden city during the America's War on Drug era. While hanging out on their front porch, the two are visited by FELICIA, a crack addict known for always asking for favors without repaying them, and the older sister of Debbie, who Craig has a crush on. FELICIA is also dating Debo, known as the neighborhood bully, and is later in the film revealed to have assaulted FELICIA. The following scene ensues.
Nothing, what you want? Oh, I need to borrow your car right quick. What kind of shit is that? Most people want to borrow sugar, or even ketchup. You want to borrow my car? Hell no. The hell on. Well, let me borrow a joint. You need to borrow a job with your broke ass. Always trying to smoke up somebody's shit. The hell on, FELICIA. I'm gonna remember that. Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck. Craig.
Bye, FELICIA.
Y'all stingy. You goddamn pest.
This YouTube clip of the scene was uploaded on March 11, 2007. It began to spread in 2008 when an Urban Dictionary user defined the term as, when someone says that they're leaving and you could really give two shits less that they are. Their name then becomes FELICIA, a random bitch that nobody is sad to see go. Their real name becomes irrelevant because nobody cares what it really is. Instead, they are now FELICIA.
An important thing to note is that this definition isn't actually accurate. In the scene, FELICIA wasn't leaving or planning on leaving. Craig was saying bye FELICIA as a way of trying to dismiss her and get her to leave. Also, Craig was using her real name, not changing it to make her actual name seem irrelevant.
The term continued to spread through GIFs and memes with the phrase used in it. The term began to pick up again in 2013 when it was used by a cast member on the TV show Bad Girls Club Miami in August of that year. It also began to spread in gay and drag communities when it was used in the YouTube video Blurred Binds by drag queens Detox, Willem, and Vicky Voss, uploaded in September of 2013.
Bye, FELICIA.
The phrase can be seen being used in multiple subsequent seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race.
In 2014, Nicole Richie appears on Air with Ryan Seacrest, where she defines the term for him.
Let me ask
you
my
don't know
posse.
you don't know
No.
By FELICIA?
Do I know?
FELICIA.
By
Like,
FELICIA.
yeah.
Wait, what do you mean, yeah? Who is
By
it?
FELICIA.
It's bad.
Bye.
What is it? I don't know what it
It's
means.
just like, bye, you random thought.
Oh.
FELICIA is like some random that you just do not even care about.
Again, we see a mistranslation of the phrase. FELICIA wasn't some random nobody. She knew Craig and Smokey. The phrase obviously began to get its meaning warped from the inaccurate Urban Dictionary definition that was posted. It also makes sense that the meaning was warped by its use in popular slang. The phrase doesn't stand out as much if you're replacing FELICIA with the name of the actual person you're trying to dismiss. So by repeatedly using FELICIA, we can theorize that people assume the point of the phrase was using the wrong name.
Social media played a key role in the spread and mistranslation of the phrase. It only began to spread outside of the African American community when it was first uploaded to YouTube, and then when it was incorrectly defined on Urban Dictionary. Another vehicle for the phrase to spread was through memes and GIFs, exclusive to social media and the internet. The singular images and GIFs can be quickly screenshotted and/or shared, allowing for rapid spread.
Nana analyzed this t-shirt, designed by someone who clearly doesn't have a full understanding of the source material. The t-shirt reads, "I wish I was Felicia. She's always going somewhere." Firstly, we already know Felicia wasn't trying to leave in the scene. She was being kicked out. Secondly, Felicia was a crack addict in an abusive relationship, getting talked down to by two men she was trying to repeatedly borrow stuff from. Anyone who saw the movie would not want to be Felicia.
Now to go back to Jane Hill. As we know, the movie Friday takes place in South Central LA, features a primarily black cast, and most of the movie is written in AAVE. So non-black Americans taking by Felicia and using it as a slang term for their own entertainment and use can be considered language appropriation. We also see that when it's being spoken, the user often mimics an AAVE inflection.
Throughout history, AAVE has often been considered a lazy or sloppy version of English, or described as ghetto by non-black Americans. But in cases like this, we have an AAVE term that's now considered cool and hip to say by non-black Americans because of its popularity. At the same time, by using it and knowing that it comes from AAVE, or at least knowing that it didn't come from traditional American English, it reinforces stereotypes about AAVE being ghetto or lesser than traditional American English.
Going back to the t-shirt, this is an example of when a culture not only steals a phrase from another culture, but then uses that phrase incorrectly to profit in a way that doesn't benefit or even recognize Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, the original creators of the phrase.
So now we know how we got from the source material of the movie Friday to this t-shirt that doesn't understand the movie at all, through the help of social media and language appropriation. So now you know. Bye, Felicia.